Daunte Culpepper got just 4 starts in Miami last season. This one, he's hoping to stick the Dolphins with their 4th straight loss. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz and NFL.com's Pat Kirwan with you, breaking down the Raiders, who last week snapped an 11-game losing skid. They're taking a trip to Miami to take on the 0-3 Dolphins. And let's start with Culpepper because, last year didn't get the fair shake. He was still injured. He's had that extra year to recover. Now he's with Oakland going into Miami. He's taking over for Josh McCown. Played pretty well last week. What do you think he does in this game?
He played very well last week considering coming off the bench. He didn't get a lot of reps in practice. He's a guy that needs a lot of reps in practice. He's going to get all those reps this week. Talked to Lane Kiffin, so he is going to play. What do I expect? I expect them to build the running game around him and then a screen game. He threw a beautiful screen on 3rd and 23 last week to Lamont Jordan that went for 27 yards. That's their game right now, the screen game and the running game.
And he's going to play even longer if Josh McCown can't come back from this fractured toe, especially if Culpepper plays well. You talk about the running game. Lamont Jordan is back to his form of 2005. What is it the offensive line or is it something that he's doing that's going so well?
He's a good power runner. That's the first step. The second part is there's a commitment to the running game, and the schemes are sound as a rock. 4th and 1, they go for it. I challenged Kiffin on that call. I said, what are you doing 4th and 1 run? He goes, get this line. We have a lot of faith in our offensive line. If you think a year ago anyone would say that about the Raider offensive line, that's what they're saying. They went for it on 4th and 1 and made it easily, and they intend to do it again. That's how much faith they have in that O-line.
That's an offensive line that, remember, folks, last year gave up 72 sacks, and they couldn't run the football at all, let alone score points. So that's very interesting from the youngest coach in the NFL. On the other side, first 2 weeks, the Dolphins couldn't run the football. Last week in New York, Ronnie Brown had a career day, 211 yards of total offense, 99 receiving, and he also had a lot on the ground. Take me into Ronnie Brown this week against Oakland's defense.
Well, Ronnie Brown is going to be challenged. First of all, I think it said more about the Jet run defense than it did about Ronnie Brown and the O-line. They're a little better, but they could easily stall out. Now they're playing against a Raider team that is getting, and the Raider defensive guys have walked around in Oakland unchallenged by their head coach because everyone perceived them as the group that was carrying that team. They're not carrying the team right now. They're giving up more points than they did last year, and they can't defend a lead in the 4th quarter. And I know Lane Kiffin has challenged them. They're going to go in there and be physical with Ronnie Brown.
So far, Oakland has given up 36, 26, and then 24 to Cleveland. So, yeah, they got to get one of those games where they're under 20. As for the Dolphins' offense, they're averaging over 20 points a game. Haven't done that since 2002. We'll see if that maintains. All right, time to get to our AccuScore prediction. That's 10,000 computer tests, all mathematical elements into the computer, spits out 10,000 results. And here's what it came up with for this game. 57% of the tests run had the Dolphins coming out victorious. The average score between the 10,000 tests, 21-19. Now remember, that's just an average. Pat, add the human element.
I like where the computer came to this conclusion. I would like to see the Raiders win this game, but the trip across the country, I don't know if the computer factored that into it. That's a struggle for these guys coming off last week's game. And Trent Green. To me, the running game was good enough last week that you've got to make run calls on defense, which is what the Raiders are going to have to do. And I think Trent Green is going to come out early in this game, look at that safety down the box, and take some shots down the field and open this thing up. Yep. I like the Dolphins in a very close scoring
Interesting
game.
Point you make about that cross-country trip. It doesn't add that into the computer because that would be a human element. This is all mathematical. Folks, the Dolphins off to an 0-3 start for just the 2nd time since 1969. Cam Cameron trying to get win number 1 Sunday. It begins at 1 p.m. Eastern. The game on CBS. And for more on this game or any other in Week 4, be sure to check out other previews on CBSSports.com and all over the CBS Audience Network. For NFL.com's Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care.